we need to identify and call out these very common engagement and wedding related myths. There are so many of them. This is literally just a couple. So I want you to think about like what else comes up in your mind as a wedding myth or an engagement myth. It is really important that we debunk these myths and that we call them out, because these are the things that have us focusing on the wrong things. And they can lead to stress, overwhelm, wedding burnout, because we think we're supposed to be feeling these things and we're not. So here's one. Things need to go smoothly and according to plan in order to have an amazing wedding day. That was me. I'm very type A. I'm a control freak. I don't know if you are. Let me know if you are, if I'm alone. And I was just like, I remember thinking, I just want everything to go smoothly. And like in retrospect, why? That's so dumb. Like, why would things going smoothly matter? But that felt really important to me. That is a myth. Our wedding needs to be extravagant and or Pinterest worthy for it to be good enough. Also, that was me. Usually it's either you could do both, one or the other. Maybe even if you're a DIY person, you like really want it to look super cute, but we really get caught up in the aesthetic, what it looks like to others. And I think social media is a huge driver of that. If I can't have the wedding of my dreams due to COVID, my dreams will be shattered. It's a reasonable thing to think and feel, but it's also a myth. I'm supposed to feel the happiest I've ever felt during my engagement. Such BS. Such BS. But like, we think that we're going to just be filled with joy and love and like everyone's going to be so happy for us, blah, blah, blah. Another one is like, my relationship needs to be perfect, or my relationship is going to be like amazing during my engagement, all of those things. Or, oh my God, my family, my friends are going to be so excited. I'm going to be like the center of attention. Everyone's going to be cherishing me and so positive. So there's so many. Are there any other engagement myths that you would add? Are there any that I'm missing? I'm sure I am. There probably could be millions. So feel free to add them in the chat if any of those I missed. So these myths, which have been perpetrated by cultural and societal fairy tales and by the media, are totally flippin' unhelpful when we actually embark on this journey ourselves, because they are based on a fantasy that no one wants to identify as true. No one wants to admit that this is based on a fantasy. These myths are what set us up for bridal blackout and bridal paralysis, both of which can lead us down the road to wedding burnout. So bridal blackout, what is it? I 100% experience this. It's when you first get engaged and everything happens so fast. You're like, oh my God, I'm engaged. I want to start seeing venues right away and like blah, blah, blah. And you just fly into action. And the next thing you know, you have like been blackout for weeks trying on dresses and like doing all the things. And then you wake up and you're like, oh my God, I didn't even know. Like, how did all of that just happen? I have been in like a time warp of autopilot doing. And so what happens is when we wake up, maybe you don't wake up until after the end of the wedding, but when you do, it's like you've invested so much time and energy into all of the doing that now it just feels so much more big and important. Like, oh my God, I've done this and and it just snowballs and you become so fully invested in it all, like working out really well, that then you're like micromanaging the details and you're trying to like control everything. And it just, you become convinced all of the shit matters. So that is bridal blackout. Or the other thing that happens is bridal paralysis, where it all just feels like so much. Like literally there's so many decisions that anxiety can just be exponentially overwhelming, and you can just become overwhelmed and paralyzed, like total paralysis, to the point that you just start avoiding stuff. Avoiding the paralysis is real. Yes, it is so real. It's like, I don't know how to make these decisions. There are so many decisions to be made. I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know how to So these things are so real. So let me know in the comments, do you resonate with either or both of those? Sometimes it's a combo, right? So these myths and the conditions, the paralysis and the blackout, are based on this mistaken assumption about the engagement process, which hinges your happiness about your engagement and wedding on all of the shit, all of these external things, right? Like the dress, the invitation, the bridesmaids, the party, all of these things. But it's vital to realize that anytime we make our happiness, our joy contingent on external things, we are bound to be disappointed. Sorry, but that is true. Anytime we make our happiness dependent on external things, things outside of us, we are going to be disappointed. So that is why I work with my clients to challenge all of these preconceived myths and turn their focus from external things to internal things. This intentional shift is what is going to help you build incredible resilience. And resilience is the ability to cope well with stressful events and to bounce back like a pro. When you focus on building an intentional and resilient engagement rather than a picture-perfect wedding day or celebration, you are bound to feel content. You will feel content with the result.